Okay, so traditionally at this time, we usually, if someone wants to give an invocation, quick prayer, does anybody would like to? Go ahead.
I was just thinking about as we go into this season that everybody really be cognizant and try to help your neighbors in the community. There's a lot of people for some reason this year, especially around St. Charles County, believe it or not, that are homeless. I've been to the post office in the last couple of weeks, and there's a lady that's 60 years old that's living in the post office at night, and she tries to make it during the day otherwise. So there's a lot of needs out in the community, and try to dig deep in your heart and your soul and try to help out the people who are less fortunate. I also ask that God pray over the elected officials and appointed officials, and then we all listen to one another and respect one another, and then we have a um, good discussions and good give and take among each other. We're all here for one purpose, and that's to make a better community, a better county, and a better state. And so I just ask that we pray for all the residents of Darden Prairie in St. Charles County, and that we pray for the less fortunate, and that everybody have a joyous season, and that everybody be healthy, and your families have a really good holiday season. So thank you.
Ben. Kim, would you call the roll?
Mayor Gatway,
Here.
Alderman Caslow,
Here.
Alderman Detweiler, Alderman Gettemeyer, Alderman Johnson, Alderman Whitteman, Alderman Wilson.
Present.
Okay, consent agenda. Entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda. Got a motion by Mark, second by Carla. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Here none, the consent agenda is approved. Public comments, Kim.
Joel King,
Joel King, 2 Toussaint Drive. First, I want to glad to see you're doing better. I know the last meeting you were in a lot of massive pain. Glad to see you're doing better, Mayor.
Thank you.
Next thing, of course, is my stump road. In reference to the speed bumps, I have not heard anything in the past couple meetings as to if we're going to definitely get them or not. One thing I'd like to say is if you don't think people will speed down that road, they were driving on the closed portion the past few days. They move the things to the side and just drive down the closed portion to make it a shorter trip for them to get the quick trip. So if you don't think they're going to speed, let me tell you, they will, because they're, like I said, they're moving everything there. And remember also, like I said, I haven't heard anything about the speed bumps, but the fire and rescue guys that I talked to several months ago even said it's set up to be a racetrack going down Stump Road. So I think being proactive is the way to go when it comes to that. And I don't know what the budget is like on Stump Road, if they're losing, if it's getting close or whatever. But how about looking at knocking out the sidewalk from Toussaint Drive north to Feisey on the east side to help those residents out so that they don't lose all their trees. There'll be one on the other side. You can have a crosswalk to get people over there, and it saves the city money if they need to save some money. But that's all I got. Thank you very much.
Okay, Kim, next.
Arnie Dienoff,
Thank you very much, members of the Board of Aldermen. First of all, I was really shocked to hear that there's a city contract for at least 3 years. We as residents and community members do not want to be tracked by the city or any governmental agency. We don't want to have our spending habits recorded or mobile phone usage documented. I'm just shocked that the city has such a contract. The next thing I'd like to talk about is I want to be a resource and work with you to build a great community. When the mayor and city attorney tell you not to dialogue or engage with the public or residents, those who have made the sacrifice and effort to come here out of their busy schedules because we care about the community, you have every right, and there's no state law that prohibits you from asking a question of any speaker to get information and to get facts. And so I ask you to engage and to dialogue with the community. The next item I'd like to talk about is the park long-term lease. Um, at the end of the day, any way you want to slice it, both political entities, the community college district and the city, they are publicly owned lands, publicly owned usage, and we pay all the bills. I want to make sure that the entire 35 acres remains in the public domain of the Great Rivers Greenway Public Park District. It needs to remain accessible by the public, used by the public, as we all pay the Prop C 1/10 of 1 cent sales tax, which generates $10 million annually. Prop C, passed by St. Louis City and St. Louis County voters, is an additional 1/16 of 1 cent sales tax that will raise $9.4 million. I do not trust the president of the college, Barbara Cavalier. They're attempting to make a private country club at the taxpayer's expense. Be very cautious of Barbara Cavalier. She did the same antics in the Texas Community College District and was relieved of her duties. The bill from Hamilton Weber is way out of control, $25,693, and have been the trend of $25,000 to $28,000 each month, or $300,000 annually. Every time the mayor calls John Young, he bills at $75 every 15 minutes. Does not take a rocket scientist to write a bill or an ordinance. The need to be at every Board of Aldermen meeting and every city meeting is unnecessary. The need for 2 attorneys at meetings, there is no free lunch, and it has to be somewhere to pay the second attorney, Mr. Johnson. Bill number 2458, the conditional use permit and site plan for a wedding gown entity. It's the city's future commercial land, and you need to rely on sales tax revenue and increase those revenues for the city's future. I ask that you stop throwing away the city's growth opportunities. This is a very low sales tax generation, and this place belongs in a strip shopping center.
Thank you, Arnie.
Thank you.
Your 3 minutes is up. Anybody else, Kim? Okay. Anybody from Liberty High School like to get up, talk about any? Sure. So you're writing a paper for, or what a paper about what we talk about here? How about if we give you a quick quiz on civics quiz? Huh?
I think you should make him come to the microphone.
How many senators are there in the United States? 100? Okay. How old do you have to be president? All right. You guys got it. Anybody else have any other questions they'd like to ask them? They're doing pretty good here.
I say give them a break and let's move on.
Okay. Well, we're glad you're here. Glad to see you here. New business. Entertain a motion to read Bill 2459 for the first time.
Second.
Got a motion by Mark, second by Ryan. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hear none. Brad, would you read Bill 2459 for the first time?
An ordinance adopting the budget for the city of Dardenne Prairie, Missouri for the fiscal year commencing on January 1, 2025 and ending on December 31st, 2025.
Any discussion or debate?
Second.
Got a motion by Mark to read Bill 2449. Second time, second by Ryan. All in favor? Any opposed? Hear none. Brad, you're up.
An ordinance adopting the budget for the city of Dardenne Prairie, Missouri for the fiscal year commencing on January 1, 2025, and ending on December 31st, 2025.
Any discussion or debate? Got a motion for a roll call vote by Mark. Got a second by Ryan. Kim, would you call the roll?
Alderman Detweiler. Aye. Alderman Caslow.
Abstain.
Alderman Wilson.
Aye.
Alderman Whitteman, absent. Alderman Gettemeyer.
Aye.
Alderman Johnson.
Okay,
Ordinance 2331.
I declare Bill 2459 as ordinance 2331. Okay, entertain a motion to adopt resolution 386. And just for the people that are there, I'm going to go ahead and have Brad read. Typically, we don't read resolutions, but Brad, would you go ahead and read the title of the resolution?
A resolution of the Board of Aldermen of the city of Dardenne Prairie, Missouri regarding reappointment to the Board of Adjustment.
That
Move
Keith-
to adopt resolution 386. Sorry.
occasionally we have people that are on board that their term expires. This particular person, it expired and is getting reappointed. He asked to be reappointed, so it's the simple resolution to reappoint him. $386. Got a motion to accept 386?
Restate my motion.
Mike seconds it. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Hear none. Resolution 386 is adopted. Okay, I entertain a motion to adopt resolution 387.
So moved.
I got a motion by Mark, a second by Mike. And then this is again for another appointment of the Board of Adjustments to Matt Turner. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hear none. Resolution 387 is adopted. Okay, old business, Bill 2457. It was read on first time on 11/24. Entertain a motion to read Bill 2457 for a second time. So moved by Mark. Second. There's a second by Ryan. Hey, Brad, would you read Bill 2457 for a second time?
An
By
ord-
title only.
An ordinance of the city of Dardenne Prairie, Missouri, approving a conditional use permit for certain property located between Technology Drive and Lally Drive off Mers Farm Lane in the city and bearing parcel ID number 4-0036-43170000000.
Adam, all right. Any discussion or debate? Got a motion for a roll call vote? Is there a second? Ryan? Okay, Kim, would you call the roll?
Alderman Johnson.
Aye.
Alderman Gettemeyer.
Aye.
Alderman Wilson.
Aye.
Alderman Caslow.
Aye.
Alderman Detweiler. Aye. Ordinance 2332.
I declare Bill 2457 is ordinance 2332. Okay, entertain a motion to read Bill 2458 by title only for a second time. Got a motion by Mark. Second by Carla. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hear none. Brad, you're up.
An ordinance of the city of Dardenne Prairie, Missouri, approving a site plan for certain property located between Technology Drive and Lally Drive off Mers Farm Lane in the city and bearing parcel ID number 4-0036-4317-00000000.
Okay, any discussion or debate? I got a motion for a roll call vote by Mark. Entertain a second by Ryan. Kim, would you call the roll?
Alderman Wilson.
Aye.
Alderman Detweiler. Aye. Alderman Gettemeyer.
Aye.
Alderman Johnson.
Aye.
Alderman Castlo.
Aye.
Ordinance number 2333.
Okay, I declare Bill 2458 is ordinance 2333. All right, moving right on to staff communications. City attorney. City engineer. City administrator. Alderman.
Yes, I have a few things. I heard from a resident who was wanted to advise the Board of Aldermen that on Feisey Road by the Prairie Encore, that the roads are covered with mud. And I realize that we've had snow, but apparently I wanted just to advise the board that it appears to be an issue and it needs to be cleaned. I also wanted to give a shout out to Arnie because it was shared with me an article where he helped out a woman, and it was a very good article. So shout out to Arnie for that. And then lastly, okay, so we have a board/commission appreciation dinner this week. But then on January 17th, there's another party. So 2 parties or dinners. Is this the best use of city funds? Heard that the January party was originally only for city employees. That would make better sense. We're always told that money is tight. Seems like a big waste of tax dollars. Certainly, some are going to the one this week, and then some are going to the one in June. And even if it's in the budget, we need to be fiscally responsible with spending money, and I know residents would appreciate that.
Okay, so we have any interest in canceling these parties? Show
No.
of hands.
I don't think, no, I don't think that's the point.
Paul?
I think the point is it's a duplication. I think the appreciation dinner, I know when I was not an alderman, I appreciated coming to the dinner as part of PNC. But I think the issue is with the alderman and PNC returning back in January to another dinner, whatever. I don't remember that being passed. It's not been in the past 3 or 4 years that I've attended. I think it is a duplication and it's an expense. So I think if the 17th one is for city staff, that's certainly fine. I just don't think the board and P and Z and any of the other, I don't know who else is invited, but I think that's an overkill.
And that was my
a waste of
comment.
money.
Yeah, that was
So-
what I was thinking.
I think one for us is enough.
The one is going to be here. Okay, and
Right.
that's going to be for like the aldermen and the elected officials. P&Z
Right, and that's our
Okay.
appreciation dinner.
appreciation.
And that,
And then the other
That's-
one is for the staff. And it was extended to the aldermen only. Okay.
mm,
I have down Board of Aldermen, P and Z, DP, Darting Prairie staff, attorneys, yeah, for the 17th. That's what I,
Both of them?
no.
Which one, which group was the vision committee invited to?
I didn't hear.
What's that, Mike? I didn't catch that.
Which of these appreciation dinners was the Vision Committee invited to?
Tomorrow nights.
Tomorrow
Tomorrow
night.
nights. Okay.
The meeting in January, P and Z was also invited to that.
Right.
What?
Yeah,
That's the first time that's happened. I
that,
know.
that's what we're saying. And I don't remember last year, the,
Okay, well, how that decision. They will consider that in the future. But I don't think, I agree with Laura and with Carla that, yeah, that's a little overboard. So,
Kim, I mean, in the time I've been here, I don't remember them being invited to the staff Christmas parties. Have they before?
I don't believe they have.
Okay. Oh,
well, and I don't think the board needs to be invited either. You know, we've had our appreciation dinner. I don't think we need to be invited to the one like the 17th either. I mean, staff and the mayor, certainly, but I don't believe the board needs to be invited.
I would recommend leaving that question to staff. I know staff and the aldermen don't get a lot of opportunities to interact. So I've always seen that as a good opportunity for the staff and the aldermen to get some face time and learn a little bit more about each other in a more casual way.
it's more of a networking with the staff, as Mike just alluded to, that we normally don't have the time to talk to the staff because they are working and stuff like that. We do come and talk to some of them, but we don't get to meet all the staff that works here in City Hall. So it is a networking also, and I think it is important.
I disagree. And they always talk about how we are out of money, can't afford stop signs, et cetera, et cetera. So it seems to me we should be more budget conscious about having redundancies like this happen. To disagree.
I don't think it's a redundancy because one is with the committees and all that. It's just, I mean, the redundancy is with the planning and zoning being invited to the staff meeting.
any other alderman?
I have two things. One, and I wasn't able to make the meeting when the upgrade to the school zone signs was discussed. I would like to recommend that we put that as an appropriation on the next meeting, if it's amenable to the rest of the board. We will have to, if we want to upgrade those to flashing signs, as I've heard a recommendation from our patrol officers, and it's played out by the number of speeding tickets we get through our school zones, we will have to appropriate some money. I'd like to do that sooner than later, just to ensure that students are being safe. So I'd like to look to do that in the next meeting, if the board's amenable.
Okay, I believe there's a grant we're applying for, Mike, that would include, it's a specific grant for crosswalks, safety signs, things like that. Can you elaborate on that, Tom?
Yes, Mayor, I can. It's Safe Route to Schools. It's a TAP grant. It's part of the East-West Gateway program. The only problem with it is it takes a long time to process through those grants. But we are targeting the schools in our city to look at improved crosswalks, improved signage, improved ADA ramps, et cetera, at each of the schools in the city of Darden. So the only downside is we don't know if we'll get the grant, number one. Number two, it does take a couple of 2 years to process through the procedures of East-West Gateway / MoDOT. But we have Alvin Caso that we have been directed, my office has been directed to pursue that at, I believe, the last 2 different meetings we've had.
And I would fully support pursuing it. However, I would not feel comfortable with delaying on something like upgrading force signs because I think that's what we would need to do to raise visibility. Upgrading force signs now and then waiting the 2 years to talk about upgrading crosswalks and things like that. Those aren't immediate safety needs, but the number of speeding tickets that are given out, as many 30 an hour, I've heard, or maybe not in 30 shift it was, through our school zones is terrifying. And I don't want over those next 2 years a child to get hit and us say, well, the least we could have done is add some flashing lights to those signs. That has been a recommendation from our patrol officers that sit out there at the schools every day, watching people speed through. And a lot of them just don't realize that they just passed a sign. So I would highly recommend that we go ahead and do at least that base minimum and continue to pursue the grant. Is that something that the board would be okay with?
Okay, I'm fine with that, Mike, and I can work with Kathy on seeing what we can do to get them signs as quick as possible, because I'm in total agreement with you that there are some areas to where even on Town Square Boulevard, there's a flashing sign, yellow sign during school hours. Nowhere have I see a school zone sign anywhere. So people are to know that that flashing yellow light is in fact a school zone. There should be at least a school zone sign somewhere there. So
Absolutely. I appreciate that. Thank you, Mayor. The other item I wanted to address, we did have a comment made during public comment about encouraging the board to interact and to have dialogue with our speakers. This is something the board has heard many times, but I want to say this since I know we have some individuals in the audience that are interested in procedure. And so not always does procedure make sense unless you've been here a little while. I would continue to encourage the board not to have dialogue during those times of public comment. That is a time for the public to come. They are under a clock that's a 3-minute clock. That's their time for them to talk and for us to listen. When we open up dialogue, we can often throw off the message. We can create inequalities in the time that they have to speak. If they are slowed down or if they are interrupted by an alderman and engaging that dialogue, they may only get 30 seconds of actual content out when they intended to get 3 minutes. And I think we need to be incredibly fair and balanced to everybody. We do want to protect their First Amendment right to speech and their right to address us. It is our job to listen to them. Dialogue is great, and dialogue happens in those chambers all the time after the meetings. But during the proceedings of the regular meeting, it is really important that we follow that so that we do not create inequalities within the citizens' rights to address us and to be heard. So I highly recommend that we continue to remain silent and respectful and open during that public comment period. And that's all I have for today.
okay. Any other alderman?
Yeah, I'd like to address some of the comments made tonight by Arnie. First of all, I want to thank you for recognizing me as attorney, second attorney up here. That was kind of neat because I'm not an attorney. Anyway, the Greenway, which would be taking over the contract for the area, giving it back to the school and would be releasing us, I think would be a big benefit, not only to the residents because they've already talked about upgrading and taking care of the trail and all that. That's a big expense to us. It's also going to help the community along with it. As far as Mike talking on the dialogue and that's why on my business cards, I have my personal cell phone. I will call you just as you call me all the time, Arnie, and we talk. You would text. I'm happy to talk to anybody and anyone in St. Charles County. As far as the contract goes with the tracking that you were talking about, that's public record out there. Anybody can get that information. It's not just our residents. It's for business purposes only to identify where the people are traveling to and from and how to establish businesses in your city. Joel, as far as the speed bumps go, My understanding is we were looking into the temporary ones if there is a problem.
Correct.
Yes.
We're
So-
not
so-
going to change the contract, existing contract. HR Green has made it clear they're not interested in adding anything to the existing scope of the contract to the
Ye-
stump, which the speed bumps would include changing their contract.
But it is within our
One-
budget to put in temporary, the rubber type ones.
Yes.
If we determine
After it's
there's
done,
a,
after the
a-
project's
a-
done,
a
after we get a
issue.
traffic study and count to determine where, how many, and if in fact there is a problem after it's complete.
yes. So that's,
Alderman,
and
Alderman Johnson, if I can make one clarification. I apologize if I'm stepping on you. I can't tell being remote.
Out of turn, Mike. All right, just let Mark finish and then you can talk. Okay?
And as far as that
Okay.
sidewalk goes on the east side, I don't know if there would be a problem with the integrity of the whole project if we remove that or not, Tom? I mean, does that cause an issue or anything? I mean, I know we're way long into this project and everything, and I don't want to jeopardize it or change integrity of it, but I do understand that the second sidewalk on the east side, you know, we already removed the one going south.
Correct.
What would
I
that,
believe that was removed during one of the design stages. I don't think I was here when that was
Right.
removed prior to me, but that is probably something that would all have to go through MoDOT as a scope change. Even though it's a cost reduction, it just has to go to how many points you get when you go to actually apply for these grants. It may have, it depends on if MoDOT determines it, if they want to run it by East-West Gateway or not. Again, when you submit grants, your points are based on.
right, and that's why I
Some
was
of them
talking
are-
about the
a lot of
integrity.
Points are based on pedestrian movement. So I'm not saying
So I
it's
guess
possible to do, but
I guess my quick question is would it cost us money to figure out if we could remove that, and would it save us money on that project?
I would suggest that if you want that to be pursued, that Kathy and I discuss at the next HR Green / Honorstall update meeting and see if they will run that by the MoDOT representative that approves the work on this project. They approve change orders, et cetera, to see if it's feasible or possible at that level. And
Okay, we will bring that up at the next meeting and let's move forward. Okay? See what they determine from that.
Tom, can I ask a clarifying question? I believe the concern was related to the removal of trees in order to install that sidewalk. Do you know whether or not trees have to be removed for that sidewalk?
Well, I don't believe trees specifically are to be removed, but I think there's the fear of damage to the roots. That is, I think, the question.
Proximity to the trees, that there's concern that
Yes.
they'll be.
That's all.
All right, Mike, go ahead. You had a comment?
Yeah, I apologize for stepping on Alderman Johnson. It wasn't my intention. I know how I've become acutely aware of how sound bites can be clipped and taken out of context, and I did not want that to happen to him. I think what Alderman Johnson is talking about is not necessarily temporary speed bumps, but retrofit speed bumps. I don't think he was suggesting that we put a speed bump there for a week and then take it back up. So I just wanted to make sure that that was clear, that the speed bumps he's talking about are permanent fixtures. They're just retrofit.
Yes. Okay. Right?
I was taking a call. I'm gonna do Keith tonight. Is that all right? I'm gonna do Keith. All right. All right. I want to thank everyone coming out tonight. Especially want to thank St. Charles County police officers. I want to special thank him. My wife was in Aberdeen, and somebody called the cops on her because she was waiting for my daughter at a tutor. She was outside the swimming pool area, and the officer was very nice and polite. So I want to thank you and I appreciate you for that. And thank you for doing everything for our city. Thank you for coming out, and thank you for everyone for coming out, especially our students from Liberty High School. And we appreciate you all, and hope you guys have a wonderful night.
Get everything you need? All right. What you didn't get, you can just make up, okay? All right. A lot of people around here, that's the way it works.
And if you don't come to the next meeting, I want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas.
Okay, motion to adjourn. Got a motion? Got a second by Mike? All in favor? Regular meeting is adjourned.
Wait.